The emotional return of Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor to home soil after nearly 3 years of arbitrary detention was warmly embraced by Canadians this weekend, but their ordeal will have long-lasting implications on this country's relationship with China. Mr. Kovrig and Mr. Spavor arrived back in Canada very early Saturday morning after more than 1,000 days in Chinese prison. The pair were greeted in the dark and hugged by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on the tarmac at Calgary International Airport. The two Canadians were accompanied on their trip back to the country by Dominic Barton, Canada's ambassador to China. Mr. Spavor stayed in Calgary while Mr. Kovrig proceeded to Toronto, where he was met by his wife, Veena Najibullah. Mr. Kovrig told reporters it was fantastic to be back in Canada, and he was immensely grateful to everyone who worked so hard to ensure their return to the country. Former Canadian ambassador to China Guy St. Jacques told the Globe and Mail on Sunday that it will be impossible, however, for Canada to return to normal with China. He said a lot has been learned in the past 3 years about the dark side of the country, and that trust is gone. It will take years before it can be rebuilt, he added, noting other countries understand that what happened with Mr. Kovrig and Mr. Spavor was clearly hostage-taking. The federal Liberals were cautious with remarks during the recent election campaign because they did not want to antagonize Chinese communities, Mr. St. Jacques said. But he said that now that the campaign is over and the Michaels are back, it is time for Canada to articulate a new approach to China. University of Ottawa professor Roland Paris, a former foreign policy advisor to Mr. Trudeau, also said the re-elected Liberal government should move quickly to develop a long-term strategy for dealing with China. Foreign Affairs Minister Marc Garneau, who conducted interviews with TV broadcasters on Sunday, said the country has an eyes-wide-open policy in dealing with the Chinese government and there was no path to a relationship as long as Mr. Spavor and Mr. Kovrig had been in detention. Mr. Garneau also said that the countries must coexist. We will cooperate in areas where we need to cooperate, such as climate change, he told Global News' The West Block. And we will challenge China, whether it's on human rights or whether it's on arbitrary detention, when appropriate. Lynette Ong, an associate professor of political science at the University of Toronto and an expert on China, said the country is a big power and cooperation is required on key issues, even if Canada disagrees with them. Addressing problems such as climate change mitigation will be meaningless without its cooperation, she added, noting that this is also true for bringing an end to the COVID-19 pandemic. Ms. Meng was arrested at Vancouver International Airport on a U.S. extradition warrant on December 1, 2018. A deep diplomatic divide was created between Beijing and Ottawa when Mr. Spavor and Mr. Kovrig were arrested that same month. Their detention was repeatedly condemned by the Canadian government, which said China was engaging in hostage diplomacy. On Sunday, it was quiet at Ms. Meng's Vancouver residence, where blinds have remained firmly shut since her return to China. A lone Vancouver Police Department officer sat in a black cruiser parked near the house.